Hello friends! Welcome to Maggie Books. I am so excited because today I am talking about The Silverblood Promise by James Logan, and I've enjoyed this book so much, and I've been meaning to talk about this for ages and the time never came, but it's finally here and I'm going to talk about it, and I'm hopefully going to make a few people read this book because I really enjoyed it. Alright, so we follow Lucan Cordova. He is like an academy dropout and he disgraced his family, and you just wonder why. He really just made something really bad in a duel and everything went wrong and he ruined his reputation. So he's now just drifting through life, drinking cheap wine and cheating in cards and wondering how he can get his life back. And then everything kind of changes because he finds out that his father has been murdered in some really strange circumstances. This happens really in the beginning of the book, and we know that Lucan finds his body next to a paper with 3 words written. They were written in blood, and this was a very complicated moment. Lucan never got to really patch things up with his father, and they really didn't know that much about each other, so it was a big moment. And this leads him to go to Safrona, which is one of the words written on the paper, and this is a city that has lots of things in it. It's just so interesting, and Lucan is digging for answers, and he ends up really meeting a girl that is called Flea, and I love her so much. She is pulled into the research about what happened to his father, and they're going to include lots of secrets together. And obviously Safrona is a very dangerous place, so this is very funny story. It has a beautiful dynamic between Lucan and Flea. They're fantastic protagonists for this book, but in a nutshell, that's what happens. These are the first pages. This book was so much fun. It's so fast-paced, and it kicks off right in the first pages with Lucan finding his father brutally murdered. He was stabbed several times, and it was a moment when Lucan is just like, what the hell happened here? I have no idea. He really wants to do something about it, and the blood message said 3 words. It said Lucan, Safrona, and Zendruza. And Lucan knows the first 2 words. One is his name, and the other is the name of a city, Safrona. But Safrona, like, we don't know what it is. It's clear to Lucan that this is a message for him though, and he goes to Safrona hoping to find out who Zendruza is and how this whole thing ties to his father's murder. So now Lucan isn't on the journey alone. He's got a long-time friend, Shafia, with him, and she found a body with him, and they are kind of wanting to know what happened to his father together. They are kind of partners in crime, unraveling this mystery, but things really kick off when Lucan meets Flea, which is an 11-year-old girl who basically attaches herself to him, and their dynamic is just fantastic. Reminds me a lot of the relationship between Joel and Ellie in The Last of Us. And Flea is just hilarious, and she's always giving Lucan a hard time, pulling his leg, and it's so fun to read. She is witty, sharp, and adds a lot of humor to the story, which balances out the darker, more serious moments, which there are quite a lot, but it really balances things out. And one thing I loved about this book is that it's really fast-paced. There's never a dull moment. The plot is constantly moving forward, and there's always something happening, like always. Whether it's fighting monsters or navigating tricky such situations with really shady characters, or even sailing sail on the wild sea, you'll just meet all kinds of different characters, from tough sailors and shady merchants and some downright gross and surprisingly funny characters. There's this one scene that sticks out to me, where Lucan and Flea have to face against a monster and a dangerous game, but I'm not going to spoil that too much for you because, you know, it's a spoiler. But yeah, it's a very tense and a high stakes moment in their journey, and that was fun. And as Lucan digs deeper into his father's past, we slowly start understanding more about his family and about what we actually know about him and about his father. And this process is very intriguing because you can tell Lucan's surprised about what he uncovers, and even though Lucan doesn't have the best relationship with his dad, he feels a sense of duty to solve the mystery, and it really wonders who could have put an encrypted bloody message next to his father's body. And now, as much as I love this book, it's not for everyone. If you're someone who loves complex, deep world building like A Song of Ice and Fire and the Bloodsworn Saga, this probably is not for you. I'm not sure. I love those books, but this world, it's pretty light and loose, and it's not super detailed, but actually I found it very refreshing to be this way. Sometimes just want a book that is more like a story and the characters, and this is exactly that. It's an adventure fantasy with a very straightforward plot. It will keep you hooked, but it doesn't have lots of lore to be lost in. Something else to note is that there is no map in the book, which might be surprising because we are very used to seeing maps in fantasy novels, but honestly I didn't mind it too much. The world is small enough and described well enough that you don't really need a map to follow the story. It's pretty cinematic in a way, everything that you're reading in this book, and you can picture everything without really needing to flip back to the book to see where we are at in the story. And this book is also great, a great recommendation for someone who are new to fantasy. It's very easy to follow, it's fast pacing, it makes everything very engaging right from the start, and I would just love something like this when I was younger and I was getting into fantasy, because it's so fun and so quick that anyone could enjoy. And now we have the next book coming up, and I'm very excited about it. I've heard it's coming out very, very soon, and I honestly cannot hear to see where Lucan and Flea go next. I've listened to the audiobook as well, and the narrator is perfect for this kind of story. He really brings the world and the characters to life, and yeah, I recommend the audiobook to you. So if you're looking for a fast-paced, fun and adventurous fantasy with really some charming, lovely characters, a beautiful dynamic between the main two characters, you check out Silverblood Promise. It's so cozy and a perfect break for like the heavy epic fantasy reads. This is my recommendation to you. This is my gift to you. Like, James Logan did a wonderful job creating this world and these characters, and I love them to bits. I'm going to probably read this book again in the future. I've already read it twice. You could say that like that's enough, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to read what James writes next, to see where the story will go. I kind of have hints of where it could go and what I'm excited about for the next book, but I'm trying to make this as non-spoiler as I can, because I know that it's a new book. It just came out a few months ago and so many people haven't read it yet, so I don't want to spoil that for you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review, and please let me know if you've read this book or if you're curious to read this book. And if you did read it, please let me know like some recommendations that are similar. I need more of that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye!